Okay, so Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Dear Mrs. Rizky Suryasyaningsi, as an English lecturer, here I will present the results of a paper entitled Student Communication on Anxiety in Public. So, before the presenter, I am Muhammad Naharul Ahyat, NIM 3421098, and then the material will be presented. The first is an introduction. Academic activities that are usually carried out are literature, discussion, research, making analysis, and making papers. Students' minor skills are used to convey the ideas of the problem, one of which is struck presentation. This presentation activity is one of the academic demands of students to hone students' communication skills in order to express ideas and practice giving explanation to fellow students or lecturer. The presentation activity that is often done is speaking in front of the class. Not a few courses of a university that include presentation as one of the lecture methods. Not only presentation in class, students are required to have other public speaking skills. The ability to speak in public is the main asset of a student in meeting the demands not only in the field of lecture but in society when separated from the scope of the campus. The obstacles for students in doing presentation assessment are fear of being judged by others, fear of not being able to master the presentation material, and nervousness of speaking in public. All of these obstacles bring up indication of anxiety in the themselves. The anxiety reactions are generated such as feeling of nervousness and cold sweat. And then speech anxiety can be classified as social anxiety, which is a second of threat from the disconstant evaluation of the audience, whereas anxiety has a negative effect on students in the form of avoidance behavior that can interfere with the performance of academic activities. The second definition definition based on the narrative obtained from the experience of informants as subjects who are directly involved in the interaction between lecturer as teacher and student as student. The following conclusion can be drawn, namely, number one, anxiety in communication is not an innate trait that appears from birth, but can develop and change with increasing or the journey of an individual's life. With this assumption, communication anxiety is not a psychological condition that is accidental, but already has a relationship with a person's psychological background. And then number two, change in the level of education from to still in the middle level to college level campus also have a determining factor in a person's physiological life. Change in social patterns, and the most obvious is the pattern of interaction between teachers and students who provide intensive guidance in high school. Experience a drastic shift on campus when students were required to be more independent. Number three, anxiety in communication does not occur constantly, but is more situational or contextual. In cases that occur when students are required to deal with the public alone in front of the class, there is a tendency to increase the level of anxiety or the panic in communication. And then result. Understanding is the first step that must be taken, especially by the lecturer. The attitude as the ruler of science must be immediately replaced as a disseminator of knowledge and student servants without having to worry about losing his authority, because the attitude of authority is not determined by the authorium character and behavior, so that it impresses as a killer with the knowledge he has. The authority of a lecturer, in fact, is legally determined by his willingness and ability to respect student opinions and criticism. And of course, his awareness as a public servant in the case of academic culture on campus. It is the students themselves. And the next conclusion. In terms of science, when we are presenting, don't waste every time we have the opportunity to talk, whether asked to give a speech, comment, expression opinions, short speeches, and others. Use these opportunities and practice our ability. It doesn't matter whether we become nervous, shy or sweaty, ignore all fears and worries. In the process, it is necessary and the situation of the tension until you can solve it by undergoing all the worries. In general, this research concludes that every individual who is undergoing and dealing directly with the audience, of course, experience anxiety, whether he is or it is just a matter of how we deal with it calmly. The cause of communication who have Down syndrome is a lack of preparation. Then the audience affect their self-concept. Communicators who experience anxiety. So that self-defense is stress and has an impact. Tension that makes communicator feel anxious. The way to overcome this communication apprehensions is to prepare the material that will be presented before the day. Face all forms of attacking psychology. Face it calmly by controlling your breathing. Okay, and so is the last man. The following is a presentation of the result of my paper. If there is a wrong word, please forgive me. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.